Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. It is March 19th, 2026. That is 6 years and a day of Torah every single morning, finding each other no matter where we are in the world, so that we can say good morning and learn some Torah. What a gift it has been. Let's see who's here so we can start our seventh year of learning together. Penny and John, Ellen, Jonathan, Lydia, so good to see you. Boker Tov, Tara, nice to see you too. Barry, good morning. Arlene, Hineni, back at you. Jerry and Amy, Barbara, good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Hope that you and yours are safe and well. George and Carl, Karen, good to see you too. Today, Lydia, you're sharing today prayers for Linda. Today is you're writing scanxiety. I get that. Her fourth annual scan. Please God, please God. Good trajectory, good response, good results. Time does fly. I remember when you were sharing that first one. Michelle and Cynthia, good to see you too. Stan and Linda, Deborah, good to see you. Judy, Marcia, and Barbara, Natalie, good morning, friends. It's good to see everybody. If I missed anyone, my apologies. Jack, it's nice to see you too. All right. In honor of the beginning of our seventh year of learning, I changed the strings of my guitar, and it sounds very nice if it stayed in tune. Let's take a breath, learn some Torah. All right, everybody. That sounded nice. Not only is it the beginning of our seventh year learning Torah together, today is the first day of our seventh time going through the Torah. Wow. Also, Judy is sharing that her daughter is back in the U.S. on her way home to Seattle. Thank God she's okay. Deborah is sharing that today is a follow-up appointment after surgery. Please God, you should only hear that healing has been your path. And today, Dale let us know yesterday she's going in for hip replacement surgery. Let's keep her in our hearts as well. And Judy reminded us, I was going to say this, but that is a good reason to change your guitars and to show up in community. Today is Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Today is the first day of the month of Nisan, which for the Torah is actually the beginning of the year. And the beginning of the year in a Torah cycle is based on our Freedom Month, which tells us that Pesach is 2 weeks away. And what a gift it is for us to be present as a community to mark the beginning of this holy month. Please God, what we should see in the coming minutes, let alone hours, is a break from this war. I'm not speaking about its goals or its techniques. I'm only reflecting that for weeks on end now, our beloveds in Israel have been running to bomb shelters 8 times per night, let alone the dozens of times per day. And yes, perhaps it becomes a very strange kind of routine, but nothing about it feels routine to them, and we should not move forward through time without acknowledging the burden that is falling literally upon them. We are with them, and may this month of Nisan find them freer than they have been for some time. Let's jump into the Parsha. Now, what we've spoken about this week so far is the book of Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, and its notions of sacrifice. But what we didn't speak about was the purpose in their time of the sacrifices. If you read through this Parsha, there is a specific mentioning of the process of atonement. There's atonement for the community, for a family, and for the priests themselves. And we go through some of this on Yom Kippur during the Avodah service. It's actually an exquisite part of Yom Kippur that many people are no longer in the sanctuary for, which is strange and sad. But this is part of what it is to be a people and what it is to be a person. I reviewed some of the teachings of Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, Zichrono Livracha, of blessed memory, in preparing for today, because he has a beautiful way of explaining the uniqueness of this process. Because you might say, if you read the Parsha, that these sacrifices are offered in response to a sin that I would have committed. But sin is a strange term in our ears because we think of it as intentional. But actually, the sins for which sacrifices are offered are called bishogeg. They're called accidental, inadvertent. And why is that important? Because an inadvertent sin can be made up for with the sacrifice, but an intentional sin cannot. That makes sense, because if you were to commit, God forbid, a sin with intent to commit the sin, you can't make it a transactional absolvement. That's not how the Torah would have us understand things. That's not how ethics would have us understand things. Why? Because you can't say, I'll sin and then offer a sacrifice. I'll sin and then offer a sacrifice. That makes it seem like you can get away with, you name the sin. In fact, the only way to atone for an intentional sin in Hebrew, the Torah calls it bizadon, and the rabbis say b'mezid. The only way to atone for an intentional sin is tshuva, which has many facets, including a change of heart, an acknowledgement out loud, and a commitment to never doing it again. That's for an intentional thing, and the word sin for us sounds like that, but that's not what it means. Inadvertent sins, ones that we didn't know about. Here's an example. You didn't know while you were driving that the speed limit changed from 40 to 25, one block after the other. It's not really something that is so strange to think about. It happens. And thank God no one was hurt. Of course, that's what we're talking about. But you didn't reduce your speed. And one block in to where this changed, you get pulled over because you were exceeding the speed limit. And when the police officer comes and speaks to you, you say, oh, I didn't know, because actually you didn't. You didn't mean it. You're sorry. It was an inadvertent mistake. Many philosophers, many Torah commentators suggest that the reason why we must bring a sacrifice in the ancient world for an inadvertent mistake, chet, sin, actually means missing the mark. When you make a mistake, it has to cost something, because that's how we learn. We learn how to be even more careful with our deeds when accidental mistakes cost us something. So what do we do when we make a mistake? Because good people make mistakes. I'm not talking about the intentional sins where we, God forbid, would decide to do something wrong. You can't make up for that with a sacrifice. You have to realize what you've done is wrong, make up for what you've done, and commit to never doing it again. That's tshuva, and that's the only way to make up for something that's intentional. But more often, the mistakes we make are just those. They're mistakes. So what do? The Torah tells us, and I shared this in yesterday's teaching, the text where the prophets point out that what God desires is chesed, is a kind of love that pours out, something that does cost something. When we no longer had the ability to offer a sacrifice, we were told there are acts of goodness, of rightness, of tzedakah, of making monetary compensation because it should cost something to teach us and to help build the world. Because that inner repair for a mistake, which is what this parsha is all about, mistakes, that category of sin, not intentional ones, those have their own process of repair. And please God, they shouldn't happen because that involves premeditation. But for us, we make mistakes. We're people. What do you do when you make a mistake? You make up for it. You give some tzedakah, learn some Torah. Commit yourself to being mindful with your actions. Build the world. It's beautiful that the way that we atone is actually in the Torah called kapara. What does kapara mean? It literally means cover. The cover for the ark in the tabernacle, in the Mishkan, was called the kaporet. It's a cover. Yom Kippur. It is a time for us, and these are practices of ours that lead us towards more right action. And also to remember that inadvertent mistakes are expected by the Torah and by tradition. We don't offer sacrifices, but we do sacrifice something. That's how we make up for mistakes. And it doesn't make us less human, and it certainly doesn't make us unforgivable. The process is right there in this week's Parsha. May we be blessed to make fewer mistakes, but when we do, may we remember that we can give of ourselves as a way of repairing whatever has been inadvertently broken. Let's send our hearts to the east, friends. Really send our hearts to the east. Let's sing. Kol hod balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends.